So, hello everybody. Hello to this new webinar by Cloud Academy. I am Andrea and I am the head of content strategy here at Cloud Academy, and I will be your host today together with our friend Thibault Bronchain, who is the technical project lead at Madeira Cloud. So welcome Thibault, and thank you for joining this webinar.
Thank you.
Shortly, VisualOps is a visual builder and DevOps tool for cloud application. It is based on what you see is what you get approach with support for things like drag and drop and the like, so that you can build your whole infrastructure in a completely graphical way. It even allows you to, for example, configure the software stack for your instances, so you just tell it what to do, and VisualOps take care of all the heavy lifting, from provisioning resources to deploying the code to give cost estimations of what you're doing, and many other interesting things. I had a chance to use it a couple times. It's a really amazing tool with a lot of features, so I'm sure you are all looking forward to know more about it. So I don't want to steal a minute of time to Thibault, and so without any further ado, I'll give the floor to him, to our friend from Madeira Cloud, to let him tell us everything we need to know to get started with VisualOps. Not before having reminded you that you can start asking questions right now in the chat or in the questions panel. And I'll pick the best ones for the question and answer session that we will have towards the end of this webinar. So, Thibault, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. So hello everyone, and thank you for attending our webinar today. My name is Thibault Bronchain, and I am the technical project lead here at VisualOps. So today I'm going to give you a short introduction to our DevOps automation tool, VisualOps. Andrea already introduced a bit the company, but to give a brief summary, we have created a new and innovative DevOps automation tool designed for Amazon Web Services. The central notion is that it is a very visual and therefore very logical tool for building cloud applications, and offering you a one-stop visual solution to design, deploy, and automate your cloud applications. So one thing to highlight is that what you see is really what you get with VisualOps, and this actually applies in three key ways. First, if you have an existing cloud application on AWS, you can import what you have already existing and then have a visual presentation of what you have in place already. So this is going to be much easier to develop and evolve your pre-existing apps. Secondly, it refers to the central idea of VisualOps, to refer an intuitive means to create an app. So you are able to design your app as you want it to run entirely visually. You drag and drop the components and design the templates, and this is exactly how your app will be set up, and the state you will be keep running it, unless you want to tweak the design. And finally, VisualOps allows you to configure and monitor your cloud applications, so it means that whatever the app you have, you will keep a visual control of what it actually does. So in other words, VisualOps offers an intuitive and integrated approach to cloud application development. So unlike the traditional DevOps tool, VisualOps incorporates a visual approach to streamline the process from design to automation, while ensuring that your app will always run exactly as you designed it. So today I'm going to give you a walkthrough of VisualOps, basic introduction to how it works and how it offers a flexible, intuitive, and often a faster means of creating fully functioning and efficiently managed application. So let's start on our homepage, visualops.io. So I need to show my screen. Here it is. So yeah, here we are. So this is the main page of VisualOps.io, where you can usually register for a new account and sign up on your existing account. So we have recently released a new feature called Instant Apps, where we have pre-made some popular stacks ready to be launched in a matter of clicks. You are still able to manually tweak the app yourself, but it makes the creation of the specific application even even simpler. So just go have a look at there if you're interested. I'm going to walk through now a basic stack construction for WordPress app from the beginning. So a stack is a template of your application. So it will contain everything needed to run it, such as the resource specification and software configuration. The stack is not yet a functioning app, but rather the design of one, and is therefore static and reusable. So the example will be a simple WordPress app with the web server placed under an autoscaling group behind the load balancer, ELB, and the backend DB server. Let's launch the IDE. The connection is a little bit slow, but it will be fine. Here we are. So when you arrive on the IDE, you arrive on the dashboard, which comports few informations about your AWS account. So as you can see here, we are global statistics. So you can see like the number of running instances and the IP, volume, and so on the region. You can go on one specific region, for example, Virginia. And if you go there, you will see like the existing stacks you have, the app you have, and also some details information about the instances. So let's now create a new stack. So looking here, we'll create a new stack in Virginia, for example. Here we are. So now on the stack edition panel. So firstly, I will start renaming the stack. WordPress. WordPress. Here. And the first step that I'm going to do is to set up the different security groups for the stack. So first of all, we got a default security group. So if we click on the arrow here, we add the list of the groups of the security group. We will only keep the security group for the SSH. So this go here. So I will delete the default outbound group, which would allow all outgoing traffic basically on all the instances. So this is what I want. Okay. So I will create the first security group for all web servers. I will name it just to web.
Hey Thibault, sorry to interrupt you, but looks like we are having some connection issues. I can't see you at all. I can't hear you at all, and I'm not sure if you are getting us.
Hello?
Hello Thibault, back now.
I think it should. Yeah, it should be fine now.
Okay, it looks like it's working now.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like I just have been disconnected.
Not a big deal.
I'm in China currently, so.
Indeed.
Can you still see the application? So yeah, I was explaining that I was creating the different security rules. So there was three security rules so far. So like this one. So the default one for SSH, the database one for the database server, and there is another one which is ST-Web, which is for the web server, which contains one inbound rule for all IP on port 80. So here we are. So yeah, there was these three rules, and I was adding a fourth one. For VisualOps itself, which actually allows the servers to communicate with our server to be able to deal with the configuration. So for this we need two rules. In onboard rules, import 80, import 443. This could be like more secure and set up on only our server's IP, but I will just keep it simple for now and just allow all servers. But, yeah. So here we are. We have the 4 security groups here. So this is it for now. So what I will do now is that I will drag and drop the first availability zone to the canvas. Here we are. It's a little bit bigger. Up. The table here. So here we have the availability zone which has just been created and one subnet which has been automatically added to the availability zone. So now I will create a second availability zone to ensure that I have availability of our web servers. And I will add another subnet for the backend database server on our first availability zone. So here we are. Now I will create the first autoscaling group. Here we are. So put it in the first subnet, and I will place a load balancer, which will be facing the 2 availability zone. So now I will place an Amazon Linux image for our autoscaling group and Ubuntu image for the database. Right, so let's now configure these things one by one. So let's configure first the autoscaling group. So we can keep the name ASG0 or just name it ASG web, for example. Let's say that I want minimum of 2 servers, maximum of 8, and standard capacity of 4. Yeah. So I'll define scaling policy. So let's say that I will want to switch when the CPU reaches 90% usage for 2 periods of, let's say, 1 minute. I will change the capacity by 2. I will just set the average, and let's say I want a cooldown of 2 minutes. So it's the same time. Create the rule, so we can see the rule here.
Thibault, sorry to interrupt you, but there is a question which is quite in time and quite interesting right now. The question from Guillaume asks, can you explain a bit what is the goals of locations and scaling groups? Since we are doing that right now, it might be interesting to answer these questions right now.
Yeah, sure. Basically, you mean locations like US East 1A and US East 1B, right? Hello?
Yep. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we need 2 different locations to ensure that if one is down, for example, like you will switch to the other one. So it's just like to put more security, like to make it more available for the web servers. And the autoscaling group is a way to automatically add some more or reduce the number of instances. In case of some scanning policy that we just defined here. So for example, if the CPU usage of servers is too high, some new instances will be created automatically, and that will help to just deal with the load.
Okay, good.
All right. So yeah, I was configuring the autoscaling group. So I think we are done for this right now. What I'm going to do is that I will duplicate this autoscaling group to the other subnet. So here we can see that there is like the high availability usage of the two zones. So the second step will be to configure the web server itself. So let's call it web. So here you can define the AME type, but it's already defined. So let's keep it this way. You can define the instance type. So we will use some medium instances. You can define the key pair. So here you have like a list of key pairs which are already existing on your AWS account. But we will create a new one for this. So we can create a key pair here. We call it WordPress Thibault. Create. Here we are. So now we can download the key. Here we are. And then just close it. You can also import some key pairs if you already have some. So now we can close it. And here I will type WordPress, and I will have WordPress demo that I can choose. Here we are. So I will use this key pair for this instance. This actually this group of instances, because as soon as there will be a new instance launched by the autoscaling policy, it will be possible to access this instance using this key pair. And I will take the box automatically assign to be sure to put to give an internet access to an instance. So as you can see, like as soon as I've ticked this box, a new element called internet gateway have been inserted to the Canva. This gateway is mandatory to access the internet if there is no NAT instance already on our stack. So as there is no NAT instance here, there is a new internet gateway. So we're just going to link this internet gateway with a root table to allow internet to all instances inside our subnets for those who has been defined as public IP. So like these ones. Now we will go to advanced detail. Let's enable CloudWatch monitoring, which is very handy. Let's define the capacity for each instance. Let's say 64 gigabytes. And finally the security group. So we will keep it under the default security to allow the SSH access to the instances. And then we will add VisualOps security group to be sure to be able to communicate to our servers, and the web security group as done for the servers. So now let's configure the database server. So let's call it DB. Only one instance needed. Instance type, let's say we need to use a large instance because we might have a large database. Key pair, we can use the same one as before, so it has been already created. Now we only search it, so WordPress demo. We can activate CloudWatch. It's a database, so we need huge hard drives, let's say 1024 gigabytes. We will allow assign automatically public IP to put internet on the instance. And finally, about the security group, we will put it into database security group and VisualOps security group. So here we are, we have our two instances configured. So we can link the two instances like this. And this will create a bunch of security rules to be able to link those two instances. So I want to initiate the traffic from SG web to SGDB. And I want it to be on port 3346 with TCP protocol. So this will create me two rules, one outbound rule for the SG web, and one inbound rule for the inbound rule for the SGDB from SG web, and one outbound rule for the SG web from the SGDB. So that's exactly what we're doing here. So I can close it now. you can see the link here. So you can also like change the link style. So different kind of link. Now we will configure the load balancer. So we just need to click on the load balancer. We define it. We just keep the same name, load balancer. Seems great. Define it as internet facing. Listener configuration that sounds good. We just want to listen on port 80. We're going to change the health configuration as we won't have the index page, but we can put it under WordPress. And then, yeah, I will only keep this on this security group, so I will define the security group on the B. Here we are. So let's add one rule, inbound from everyone on port 80 to allow we want to reach servers. Can save it. And about the SSH rule, we just can delete it, as we already have this on the default. And anyway, we don't want to SSH to our load balancer so far. So. And here we are. So now I can link the load balancer to the auto-scanning group. I want to initiate traffic from the load balancer to the web security group. So same protocol TCP port 80. I can add the rule, and same thing as before, the rules have been created here. So I can close it now, and as you see, like the link has been done here. So here we are. Here you got your stack designed. So now we can go through the states configuration, which is actually the software configuration for each of your instance. So let's configure the database first. We will see why the database first. So I click on the instance and then on state here on the right, and then I click on add a new state. Here we are. So the first state that I'm going to add is the APT package. So APT TP. I will name it MySQL server. That's all we need. The second state I will add will be a CMD, so a shell command, which is actually a little bit complex command, but this is a command which will basically replace the listen address, the bind address of the MySQL server to the network card, which will allow to listen from any external address, so which will allow the connection to the database from our web servers. Here you can see this syntax, which actually allow, which will be replaced by the private IP address of the database server. So if I delete it, you will see that if I type at with some braces, I have a list of variables, internal variables that I can use. So here I want to use the private address of the database. So that's all we need on this for this command. So I can add a third state now. The third state will be service. So I want the service called MySQL to run, but I wanted to watch the MySQL configuration file. So watch means that if there is any change triggered inside this file, then the service will restart. So here we are. I will add 4 states, which is now 5. So I want to store this file under just temporary location for now. You could keep your file under like just a bootstrap location. No, it actually doesn't matter. It's up to you. You can expand for file, I can expand the content. So I have a real text editor here. So this file would actually contain the configuration for your MySQL database. So here we are. So here you can see just like standard configuration. And I want this file to, let's say, to have mode, like sys4 mode. Don't need to be like executable, as I would just run it through bash and don't execute it. So here we are. And the last state will be a command state. So add command. And this command. And this will actually configure as apply the Bootstrap script to my database. As you can see here, I'm creating a file, which is actually a marker file, which will be used to let this command run on the first run, but then once this file has been created, the command won't be rerun again. So I put the name of this file here. So this means that if this file doesn't exist, the command will run. If this file exists, then the command won't run again. So here we are for the MySQL server. Seems like it's all good. So now let's configure the web server. So click on the web instance, state, add a state. So the first state will be a YARN package. So here the web instance is under Amazon Linux. So the package manager is no YARN. So I will add a YARN package. There is a bunch to add here. So HTTP, PHP, So this is just a necessary package to run the web server. Then I can add a new state. I will say archive. So the archive will basically, the archive state will basically just download the defined archive in source. So this one, and it will unzip it where specified by path. So under this directory, and by setting the if pass absent, the if path absent parameter, you will only download and unzip this archive if this directory doesn't exist. So it avoids just like replacing already existing files. So here we are. It's okay for archive. We create a third state. We create a file here, which will refer to the configuration, to the WordPress configuration. So it's under this part. We set the content. So it's big content, so I just copied it from another place. And just paste it here. So yeah, that's basically your WordPress configuration. So that contains that the database that we defined before, the user we defined before, the password as well. Here we set the DB private address as the host for SQL. And I think that's all the configuration we have to do here. Yeah, we will have to do more configuration here, but for the demo, this is perfect. So I think that's all we need. I will add here a fourth state, which is a state called wait. So this is the reason why I have configured the database state before. It's because the wait will basically tell the web server to wait the database server to be ready, before starting the web server. So we want to wait the last state of the database server to keep going. So everything after this state here won't run until this last state won't be successful. So finally the last state will be service. Just go to HTTP, and which will watch the HTTP configuration file, which is this. Up. So we're done. So now we can just save the stack. And if I've been right on everything, I should be able to run it without any trouble. So once you choose to run the stack, you have here validation of your stack and the cost estimation. So the cost estimation is usually accurate. So that's $324.4 amounts. However, like as you can see, we have an auto-scaling group, so the cost might change because of this kind of factor. Also here, the stack validation will list you the different kind of errors you have, which will block actually the launch of the stack. Some ones which are not errors, but just some like kind of advice I can give you, and some notice, which is like more advices. This is used Trust Advisor, so it's Trust Advisor, so it's the advice delivered by AWS. So we can, here you can also define the kind of stack that you created. So here we can run it. And here we are. So during this process, you can see some of the events which are happening by clicking here. So you can see that we are processing a request to launch the WordPress application in Virginia zone. So usually it takes a little bit of time to creating the app at this moment because we need to provision all the resources to the AWS account. So we need to reach the AWS API, bootstrap all the instances, create some other resources like ELB and so on. But it shouldn't be too long. We almost reached the end. Here we are. So once it's done, you will arrive to the application panel, which is slightly similar to the stack panel, but which is more like a monitoring control center. You have some button here. You can stop the application, terminate the application, save the app as application. This is actually really useful if you generate an app, running app from a currently existing VPC. So you can have a stack directly from here and then edit it and then we run it. Just you can zoom out, zoom in, export to a picture to show the beautiful design. And change the lens type. This is a bit of a gadget. Also, when you click on each resources, you can have some details about your resources. For example, if I click on web, I can see like some details here, like the size of my hard drive. Small detail here, like the public IP and so on. If I have an autoscaling group, I can click on the number here. I will see all the instances. And if I click on one, I have some details contained these instances. And then, once you're here, you can see the different status of the states of your application. So if I click here on states, I can see all the states one by one. So right now, it's still bounding as the instances needs to be bootstrapped. So it takes a couple of minutes, but very soon you will be able to see it. For example, if we click on one instance here, you can see state in real time. Like the first step is the agent seen as disconnected. This means that your instance have already been bootstrapped, and the process will start shortly. And also, here you can click on Edit Application to edit the design of your application. So if you click here, you will have something very similar to the Stack edition, and you can do almost all the modifications you want to have, and then apply it, and you will provision it. If any instance or anything will need to be restarted, that can happen. Like AWS is not able to do all the modification without restarting the instances, then you will be prompt that you need to restart instances to apply the modifications. So for now, I'm just going to discard it. So yeah, currently here we are. You can see that the states have been run. So let's take one instances, just one random instance. And you can see here, yeah, that the states have success. So you have here sum up of each state. Like you can click for one details for one. You can see like here the installation detail of the package on the web server. So this is real time. You can reload the states at any moment, but it will reload automatically like every 10 minutes. So it will constantly ensure that everything is running perfectly, and if one state fails at some point, you will not run the one after, and it will keep trying from the beginning and ensure that everything before success before running the last one. So it's the same. It should be the same thing here for the database server. Like, yeah, everything's running perfectly. So now we're just going to go on the load balancer. Copy the address. Copy the address of the load balancer and try to access to our WordPress application. So slash WordPress. Since the DNS hasn't been updated yet, sometimes it takes a little bit of time from the Amazon, and then it's Amazon to just like link DNS, and you can try to reach the IP directly. Okay, so website. Yeah, the WordPress is basically running. This is just probably a problem from AWS. Just takes a little bit of time to propagate. Just taking the security cookies. Oh no. Oh no, it's correct. It's correct. Everything is correct. Oh, it's just a matter of time. It's not right now, but it'll be a couple of minutes. Yeah. So well, I think we're done. It's just hope it's going to run until the end, but before the end, but apparently not. So one of these Thibault. Yeah, well, sorry about this, just AWS issue. But anyway, so we are done now. So I think, hope this webinar has been helpful to you. And please remember that you can follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. And if you'd like to directly contact us or give feedback on the webinar, it's our VisualOps itself. You can also directly email us at info@visualops.io.
Yeah, indeed. What I like most is the very neat and clean interface of VisualOps. It's really great. And another feature that I know that you didn't talk about, one of the many features we haven't time to talk about, is this possibility to export the whole configuration as a JSON file, which can be shared on visual controls, version control system like Git for team maintenance and collaboration working. It's really great. There are also a few questions. The first one is about the recorded version of the webinar. Yes, it will be available. We will upload on Cloud Academy, both on the website and on YouTube. So for who joined lately, was worrying about, yes, you have the possibility to watch it later on. The first question, who is making the scaling group? Can you also get a view of the command line interface commands from VisualOps?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question clearly.
The question is, while you were making the scaling group, can you also get a view of the command line interface commands from VisualOps?
Command interface for the autoscaling group?
Yeah, for the scaling group. Yeah.
Creation?
Yes.
Yeah,
while
no,
making it.
We can't display this. The only thing we display are the states themselves. But that's an interesting feature. Like you can send your feature request to us.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed, a good one. Another question from the same person of the former. Is there a way to create user privileges in VisualOps so that only certain roles can do certain tasks?
Not so far, but that's on our roadmap.
Okay, that's great. And another question, which is right relevant with the screen we are viewing right now, because it's not about VisualOps but about the configuration you created. Since the database is only in one availability zone, if that zone fails, how does having the web server in the other zone really helps?
Well, that's an interesting question. Actually, that was more a feature that we wanted to demonstrate, and this situation indeed doesn't really help for this task precisely, but in other configurations that should help. This is a very basic demonstration. So
yeah, indeed, absolutely.
I mean, there is one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was more about showing what VisualOps can do than doing really real things. And there is one last question, an interesting one, which was referring to the part where I was saying about JSON export of configuration. And the question is, can it be exported as a CloudFormation template too?
Yeah, it can be exported as a CloudFormation template. Like when you're on your stack here, you can click here and you can export as CloudFormation. However, we can't guarantee the availability of the states if you export as CloudFormation, because we need to have the ID we need to be supported by the ID. So yeah, but you can export as JSON, like if you need to make a manual edition. Mm-hmm. But CloudFormation is only like for the resources provision, but not for the states, obviously.
Indeed. Okay, that's great. So looks like we are done. It has been a great webinar. Thank you for joining us in showing all the great and good things that VisualOps do. And so. Thank you very much, and bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.